What's up, Daily Fab Gamers? Thank you so much for watching my stream. Before you jump into this red-hot action, let's review the rules. Don't be a dick. This should go without saying, but better safe than sorry. Chat with me. You know that I can talk at my computer for hours, but it's more fun when my computer talks back. But we can have fun while we do it. Use the chat command deck for a link to the list I'm playing here. It's also in the video description. Some of these decks are sick, and you might want to play them in real life. In that case, let me refer you to Hemel from the Bazaar. It's never been more affordable to play in the flesh and blood. Players have been buying the cards they need from Hemel for years. I started buying from him in 2023 and have never found a better deal. The Bazaar's prices are the lowest for singles, full sets, and class sets, including new releases. Super Slam singles and more are available now and ship both domestically and internationally. Use the command Hemel for contact info, then reach out to see what he can do for you. Now settle in and get cozy because the stream begins now. Good morning, everyone. It's me, Lupinefiasco. We're playing Slippy today. We're going to give people a little opportunity to file into the room, realize that I'm streaming, it's time, and what I like to do, what I did yesterday, and what I want to do again is just start with a little Fablazing review of where the hero is currently, and maybe find out some of the hurdles the hero has to overcome. Head over to fablazing.com/DFG. You can put data into the chat. This link is also in the video description. Head over to the full analysis of Classic Constructed, and I think we're going to have to scroll down quite a bit to find Slippy. The nice thing about Fablazing is that it also looks at paper data, which, as I said, we're going to have to scroll for a bit to find Slippy. It's been a while since the hero is meta-relevant. Currently the lowest represented of the Arachnes, but maybe not for very long. Can look at, well, really a lot of stuff. Tournament deck lists shouldn't really be too much recently. I mean, we're looking at national championships here. It's been a while. Matchup spread is going to use Talishar data. We can see as far as the win rate goes, our win rate into sort of mid-represented decks is pretty okay. It's always been kind of Slippy's thing. Slippy gang, you know it. But we can see the win rate into Marionette, Gravy Bones, Lyeth are all pretty bad. We have a negative win rate into Syndra, which should never be the case. And of course, we did just get the Armory deck. I'm going to be showing you what I'll be playing on Talishar today on Fabry. I think some of the Armory deck cards are pretty good and are going to positively affect some of these win rates. I also think that Slippy is not an easy deck to pilot well into Gravy Bones, Marionette. I don't know the Lyeth matchup very well. It's an interesting hero in the meta right now. Has some bad matchups at the top of the meta, but we're about to get a BNR. What's really interesting is that the Dio matchup is so positive, and as Dash.io becomes more represented, that makes Slippy look better. Acilio is not great, but not terrible. Really just a lot of poor matchups into the top of the meta, and hopefully the Armory deck is enough to change that. There should not be any well-represented Slippies in any top tournaments. We can head over, start sorting by the most recent CC events. And there shouldn't really be anything impressive here. We're gonna have to scroll for a bit to find Slippy. But this is what I like to do. Yeah, 37% over 100 matches and just a bunch of terrible win rates. This is what I like to do for any new hero or any hero that I'm starting to devote attention to. Let's see how it's done in recent tournaments. Let's see how it's doing online. Let's see if we can get a sense of what the bad matchups are in the meta currently, especially at the top of the meta. Yeah, this is just a lot of red. Now, to be fair, Verdance was always a bad matchup for Slippy. Earth is not a good matchup for the hero, but Syndra used to be a lot better. Gravy Bones used to be a lot better, and these were with Bonds of Agony. But the Armory deck has some pretty sick tools for the hero as well, so let's pop on over to Fabry, and I can show you what we're going to be playing today. This list is in the video description. You can also use the deck command in chat to get a link to this. Playing with a few of the new cards and a few old favorites. Prey Spotters is one of the new pieces of equipment in the Armory deck. I was not high on this card when I first saw it, but in thinking about it a little more, I've actually replaced Crown of Providence in my list, and I'm really only playing Balance of Justice against certain specific heroes, but in 90% of matchups, we're running Prey Spotters. 1 block, Battle Worn, already great, just 1 point of value less than Crown of Providence. As an attack reaction, we can destroy this to mark target opposing hero. This is all great. We love attack reactions, we love mark, and we love unconditional mark. And that is something that Prey Spotters brings over Flick Knives. We always have the option to flick a Hunter's Clave as an attack reaction to deal a point and mark our opposing hero, but at the top of the meta, especially as Slippy and now Marionette are working their way into the meta, there's a lot of damage prevention. Shelter from the Storm, Mental Block, Florian has Well Grounded. There's a lot of damage prevention floating around that might negate the ability of Flick Knives to mark an opposing hero. And if we're sitting on Take Up the Mantle, or we're attacking with a Mark of the Black Widow, and we really need our opponent to be marked, we don't want to put ourselves in a position where a Shelter from the Storm discard prevents not only the damage from Flick Knives, but also sort of the additional value that we would get from Mantle or Black Widow, and Prey Spotters gets us around that by just saying, no, you are marked. I'm testing it out. I made the swap late last night, so it's possible that Prey Spotters just isn't good enough, but it's something I want to try. Something that is going to be good enough that I think every Arachne player is excited about is Stalker Steps. It doesn't block, which is a big deal compared to Black Tech Whisperers, which we were all playing before, but it has Arcane Barrier 1, which already is great. Lets us replace Widow Web Crawlers. But it also lets us replace Black Tech Whisperers because as an attack reaction, we can destroy Stalker Steps to give target attack with stealth go again, which is huge for all of the Arachnes. Arachne Huntsman probably benefits the least from this, but Slippy obviously plays a lot of stealth attacks. Marionette plays stealth attacks, but this also affects the Calicera. It isn't target attack action card like Snapdragon Scalers or Black Tech Whisperers, it's just target attack with stealth. So we lose the ability to maybe Leave No Witnesses, Snapdragon, Leave No Witnesses, or Leave No Witnesses, Snapdragon Codex, Leave No Witnesses. But in exchange, we get unconditional go again on any of our stealth attacks. We also get to cut 2 boots to play this. If you want to, I cut Black Tech and Widow Web Crawlers. I think there's an argument for keeping Black Tech because it does block 1, and against certain matchups, if Syndra stays meta relevant, then being able to cover a Breakpoint or a Dagger and still get go again because Syndra probably isn't blocking might be worth it, but I do want that spot back, and Stalker Steps is something I'm really excited about. Everything else in the equipment should be pretty familiar. Flick Knives, Double Hunter's Clave, Redback Shroud I think still has a place. I am not playing the new Arachne Chest that blocks 1, has Battle Worn. As an action, you can destroy it whenever you play a stealth attack action card this turn, gain a resource. I think there are some really cool lines with that. It is probably something I'll try in the future, but for now, we're just sticking with Shroud, and I have Tunic in the sideboard. Moving down to the deck itself, I actually do need to move Infiltrate to the sideboard, which I can do very quickly. I am a fan of additive sideboarding. It just makes sense to me. So these are the 51 cards that I'm playing in almost every matchup, and I'll just bring 9 cards in. If I start from 0 and need to build a Mario deck, do you recommend this Slippy Armory? I do. I need to take a look at it. You'll get some very good equipment for Marionette. Prey Spotters, Stalker Steps, Rage Baiters, I think is an auto-include in Marionette. There are probably some builds that don't play it, but it is very good. You get some of the good starting staples. You'll get cards like Meat Madness that I think Marionette might be playing. Take Up the Mantle maybe goes in Marionette. I think that build has to change a little bit. You are going to be missing some of the assassin staples, like you're not going to get Leave No Witnesses or Codex of Frailty, but you will get a good base to build Marionette, and you'll get some of the equipment that I think is really important. I cut a copy of Command and Conquer. It just is never really something that Slippy wants to hard cast, and so when you're drawing it, it's usually just a red block 3. But we do want at least one CNC in the graveyard for Codex of Frailty shenanigans. When you have a blue and a Calycera, or a blue, a Clave, and your Tunic, you can Clave Codex CNC. It's a really good line. So I do want some CNCs. I'm down to 2 copies from 3. I might even go down to 1 at some point. Sideboard space is a little tight in this deck with everything that I want to test. Blue Double Trouble, as always, stays in the deck. It'll basically always stay in the deck. But I'm playing 2 copies of Red Double Trouble. I really like the card in Slippy. I think Marionette probably does good things with it too, but this is a red 0 for 5. If it is active, and the ability should always be active, you can set it up very easily. It's also why I'm playing so much on board, so many onboard reactions. So the new Arachne Chest, for example, is not an attack reaction, it is an action. But Redback Shroud is a reaction, so with Double Trouble, Redback Shroud, and Spike with Blood Rot, this is a 2-card 10, which is really good. We also now have Prey Spotters, which, if you send, I don't know, any stealth attack, break your Prey Spotters, play Take Up the Mantle, and bring Double Trouble back from the graveyard, that is a 2-card 8. I think Double Trouble is just really good. Like CNC, I always want at least 1 copy of Double Trouble red in my deck for its synergy, in this case with Take Up the Mantle, but I am testing 2. Infect is normal, 2 copies of Jestinic. I think they're still fine. Without Bonds, it's a little less good, but we're still playing 3 copies of Blue Double Trouble. We have Persuasive Prognosis, which you can see down there at the bottom. I'm playing a single copy of Overcrowded, which does have 1 base attack. And Jestinic doesn't specify assassin attack action cards. It just specifies 1 power, so you can Jestinic and Overcrowded. For the most part, it's a red block 3. But we do have cute synergies with something like Persuasive Prognosis, play Justinic, Take Up the Mantle into something else that now keeps the +5, or play something, Take Up the Mantle into Prognosis and then Justinic it. Kiss of Death is a staple, Leave No Witnesses is a staple, Mark of the Black Widow, staple, Meet Madness, new attack action card from the Slippy Armory deck. I'm testing it, I've heard really good things about it. 0 for 3 with stealth, so it will have go again. On hit, we choose 1 at random. Banish a card from hand, arsenal, or top of the deck. This is something I'm really excited to test because 1/3 of the time it will always be good. Depending on how well your opponent plays into Assassin, it might be good 2/3 of the time if your opponent has an arsenal. 1/3 of the time it will usually be bad. Generally, we don't care about banishing the top card of the deck. But what Meet Madness really does is deal psychic damage, because if I attack a Syndra with this, they can never safely not block it, because 1/3 of the time they will lose a card to Meet Madness. Now, I think a lot of the time the correct play is don't block Meet Madness, make me banish the card from your hand, make me roll well, but especially if they have an arsenal, you can never safely not block Meet Madness. A card like Mark the Black Widow, you could definitely safely not block this, especially if you aren't marked. Then the Slippy has to make a decision. Am I going to break Prey Spotters? Am I going to use Flick Knives and go down a Clave? I can only do that so many times. If I flick on the Mark of the Black Widow, then I'm not leaving you marked for my Take Up the Mantle turn. There are definitely ways to safely not block Mark and put it on the Slippy. Meet Madness says 1/3 of the time, this will always get you. If you have an arsenal, 2/3 of the time, it will always get you. You cannot not block Meet Madness. And that's what Assassin does really well, is say, here's an attack. Do you want to screw up your blocks? And I think Meet Madness is going to do that really, really well. Moving down, we see a bunch of staples, Spinneret, Razor's Edge. I'm playing 3 Spike with Blood Rots. I might cut 1. You really never want to see 2 of these in the same hand, but I am playing more yellows now with Horrors of the Past. So it is a little more likely that I could play 2 reactions in the same turn. T-Tox, Codex of Frailty, Horrors of Past is the exciting new card. The card that we all saw spoil and said, oh, that's why they banned Bonds of Agony. Because the card is nuts. If Bonds existed, a line of Bonds Horrors would be so incredibly oppressive to everyone. I treat Meat Madness like Kiss of Death. I'm never blocking it unless I'm going to die. I think generally that's the right play. But there's still that, like, this might get me. If I put 3 in front of it, I get to choose what card I'm losing to it. I still think it's good, and I'm very excited. I might be totally wrong about Meat Madness. It might just be that card that's like, yes, 1/3 of the time you get them, but 2/3 of the time you don't. So, like, fuck it. Don't try it. But Horrors is nuts. Horrors, 0 cost, 2 power, 3 block, yellow stealth attack. When this attacks, it gets the base abilities of the last attack action card with stealth you control on the combat chain. So there are a few interesting things about Horrors. One being that it will always backtrack to the most recent stealth attack. Currently, the 51 cards we're looking at don't include anything with natural go again. There are no non-stealth attacks in this 51. But when we get down to the inventory, we're going to have cards like Enlightened Strike, Pain in the Backside, or Pick Up a Point. So if you sent something like Mark of the Black Widow into Pain in the Backside into Horrors, Horrors would look at Mark of the Black Widow as the most recent stealth attack. The extremely exciting thing about Horrors, unless the rules have changed, but my understanding is that they are the same, Horrors will take the base abilities of your most recent stealth attack on the combat chain, even if you take up the mantle, and that's new. We have never had an attack like that that works with take up the mantle in that way. So the classic example is Double Trouble. You attack with Double Trouble for 3 with go again, you flick knives, mark the opposing hero, you take up the mantle. You have now played 2 attack reactions, so Double Trouble should get +2. But when you replace it with Take Up the Mantle, whatever you replace it with doesn't get the +2 because it has become a different card. But Horrors of the Past is a static effect. So you play Infect, you play Horrors of the Past. Horrors of the Past takes the Infect ability and says, well, hit, give a Blood Rot. You take up the Mantle on a marked opponent, turn Horrors into something else. Whatever you turn it into still has the Infect text. And this gets really nasty with better cards like Persuasive Prognosis. Prognosis, Horrors, flick, mark, take up into Double Trouble. Double Trouble goes up to 5 because you played 2 reactions. Take Up the Mantle makes it 8 because the opposing hero is marked. And now it's an 8 power attack with the Persuasive Prognosis text. And what's even grosser, the big Magical Christmas Land play that we can put together with Stalker Steps, is Prognosis, Horrors of the Past, on a marked opponent, use your Prey Spotters, take up the Mantle into Kiss of Death, break Stalker's Steps to give Kiss go again, play another attack, and then flick the Horrors of the Past, which is now Kiss of Death, and still has the Persuasive Prognosis text, so that on hit, on the dagger flick hit, the Prognosis effect triggers. It's like, I don't think you're going to see that specific line very often, but when you do, it's really nasty. So I'm hoping I can put one of those together today because that's going to be an awesome short for YouTube. Horrors of the Past is easily the most exciting card for Slippy in the Armory deck. I'm really excited to try it out. Knight's Embrace is another really exciting card from the new Armory deck. It's obviously less good than Horrors of the Past, but it is a blue 0 cost 3 block attack reaction, which already is great. We were playing Conceal Blade before, but Knight's Embrace is rake over the Colts for stealth attacks. Your attacks with stealth get +1 power this turn. That includes your Calicera, and that's it. You know, you send your Infect on chain like 1, they block 3. You Knight's Embrace, make it 4. They get a Blood Rot, and then you play, I don't know, Mark of the Black Widow, and you still have your Flick Knives ability. Knight's Embrace is just going to make it awkward for your opponent to block because it is breakpoint. It's also attack reactions for Double Trouble, and I guess that's kind of it. We don't have bonds anymore. But I do think this card is worth testing. It could easily just be Concealed Blade. I'm definitely less excited about Knight's Embrace the more I think about it, but it's something to try out. We have a single copy of Overcrowd in the deck. This is kind of new. Something I'm testing out. I'm expecting to see a lot of Slippy and a lot of Marionette, and this is great counterplay for Codex of Frailty, and then we have Persuasive Prognosis. I forgot to mention Take Up the Mantle, but it's a staple. We'll never not play Take Up the Mantle and Slippy. Moving down to the inventory, we have a lot of cards that I consider very situational. We have 51 cards in the main, so into any specific matchup, you're bringing in 9 of these. Creep is there for Earth Heroes, Guardians, Gravy, any decks where you really need to be converting your hands every turn. This is a new one from the Armory deck. 0 cost, 3 power, 3 block, assassin attack action. It has stealth. When this attacks, the next attack action card with stealth you play this combat chain gets Go Again. So you start your turn with Creep. It's 3 with Go Again. It gives Go Again to your next stealth attack, and then you play a third attack. This is just helping you go wider. Importantly, it blocks 3. That's why I like this over Pick Up the Point for Gravy, because sometimes your hands just work out where you want to block, and Creep is really good at that. 2 copies of E-Strike are specifically for Gravy Bones because they kill Chum through Fearless Confrontation and kill Whaler without Fearless Confrontation. These are the 2 cards in my deck that are easily cuttable, depending on Monday's Banned and Restricted announcement, depending on what the best decks in the format are going to be based on their available cards. I could easily cut E-Strike. I didn't play E-Strike basically through all of High Seas when Bonds was still legal and we could actually play Slippy. Easily cuttable. 79th and 80th cards for sure, and I will bump them in a heartbeat. Infiltrate, old staple. The reason it's in the sideboard is that it isn't necessarily good into every hero, but we're playing this into enemy assassins, we're playing this into Syndra, we're playing it into really any aggro deck where they might have playable cards. It blocks 3, which is extremely relevant for a hero like Dash.io. Pain in the backside, like Creep, is here for Guardians, Earth Heroes, Gravy Bones, anything where we really need to be converting hands every turn. It's nice that if Pain in the backside hits, we then get to hit with a Clave and the enemy hero is marked. That can be very relevant. But basically Pain in the backside just says, give me a card from your hand. No one wants to get hit by Pain. A single Pick Up the Point is there for Gravy and Verdance. Anytime that we're boarding in Codex of Bloodrot or E-Strike, Pick Up the Point is going to come with it. Shelter and Sink, here for Assassins, Syndra, enemy aggro decks. And the Codex of Bloodrot sort of does our impersonation of Codex of Inertia against the Earth Heroes. We can force Earth Heroes to put a bad card from their hand into their arsenal. As good as some of the Earth cards are, some of them are very bad. And if we're looking at Verdance or Florian and saying, hey, put one of your crappy Earth Blues into your arsenal, they're not going to be happy about it. What Codex of Bloodrot also does is synergize very well with Meat Madness. If our opponent is doing a good job playing around the 1/3 that Meat Madness actually takes to their arsenal, Codex of Bloodrot says, well, actually, Meat Madness now has 2 active modes. It then gives them a Bloodrot. It's basically 2 with Go Again, and it replaces itself, which is effectively a 0 for 5. It's a great rate. The equipment is pretty standard. Widowveil Respirator is AB2, Spellvoid 1, with Stalker Steps for bringing that in for Kano and Verdance. Vandal Spring Tunic comes in for anything where we don't really need to be going fast, so any matchup that isn't aggressive. And Balance of Justice. What is nice about Balance is it tends to line up very well with the heroes that don't have damage prevention effects. So we're bringing Balance in against KO and against Dio, neither of whom have prevention, so Flick Knives will always be a reliable way to mark the enemy hero. But we're also bringing it in for heroes like Prism, who, to be fair, we are usually never resolving a Flick Knives against Prism because she will always have some sort of damage prevention, but it blocks 2 with a 3 block from our hand on Herald of Erudition, and if Soraya lets our opponent draw 2 or a future Herald hits, Balance of Justice gives us a card back. So these are the 80 I'm running. Am I super confident in these cards? Absolutely not. Slippy hasn't been meta relevant for 3 months. We're getting a BNR on Monday. I would be extremely surprised if I registered this exact 80 for RTN season, but it's something I'm thinking about, and this is what I want to test now. So let's get into some actual games, and we can see how Slippy feels. We can test the deck that I put together here and see, really, you know, just off the top, whatever we need to change, if anything. Prey Spotters is AB2. I was confused, and then I remembered the new legs. Yes, the new legs, which are our only piece of leg equipment. Possibly something changes. Like I said, E-Strike is cards 79 and 80 if I cut those and wanted to bring in more equipment. Black Tech Whispers could be the first thing that comes back, and then I actually have legs to swap between for really aggressive matchups. Any Ninja. I'm thinking Concealed Blade could come back in, replacing Knight's Embrace, which would let me flick more aggressively against aggro heroes. I would need to, of course it's Marionette. I would need to put a third Clave back into the deck. So this is about as hard of a matchup as we could possibly get. Marionette has never been a good matchup for Slippy, and I'm expecting this to be even worse now that they also have cool new tools. But we'll give it a try. Marionette is a reason that I might play Mask of Deceit. It was never the equipment that I really liked for Marionette previously when Slippy was meta relevant, because it always just felt like I'd rather have Crown of Providence to protect my arsenal. But here, I'm not playing either of those. So we'll see what happens. Historically, the Assassin Mirror is just draw your good cards first, win the die roll, and then draw your good cards first, so we are already behind on that point. But at minimum, what I get to do with this hand is send Kiss of Death. I can then follow up with Hunter's Clave, pitching probably Spike with Bloodrot and CNC to flick, deal 2 points of damage if my opponent doesn't start with Shelter from the Storm. It seems unlikely that I will play Spike with Bloodrot here, depending on how my opponent blocks. To really get maximum value from Kiss Spike, I would need to break Shroud, play Kiss. Well, this is potentially interesting. I am not going to react with Spike here. Okay, so you have the Frailty Trap. This is an interesting spot. I am frail. I could break Shroud. I think I want to do this, like really go for it. And if my opponent has another D-React, if they're sitting on Shelter, I just like insta-lose the game. It's an extremely defensive Marionette build. So I only have one follow-up here, which is Mark of the Black Widow. I'm going to flick the Kiss. To deal 1 point from the flick, 1 point from the Kiss, and give a Bloodrot from the Spike. I'm arsenaling a Command and Conquer, which is probably the worst card in my deck that I could possibly arsenal because I just don't have a ton of blues, but I have yellows. I can hopefully sink into something better. Cut from the Same Cloth here is not going to trigger, so I'm not marked, but my opponent is going to know that I have a bunch of crap in my hand. Do I want to block the Hunter's Clave? I think the answer is no. I'm going to sink it, and I think I'm going to sink a Double Trouble. But I'm not going to give, like, 2 cards to stop this. This is going to leave me marked, which is unfortunate. Okay, so we found a yellow, and we're very early in the game to find Take Up the Mantle. So I don't super mind pitching it here. It's going to let me open with Infect, hopefully get a card for Marionette, They have already blocked the Black Tech Whispers, so I feel good that they aren't going to be able to Mask of Deceit Black Tech me to stop the Infect. I make it a full card, and then Pitch Mantle, play CNC. And Nourish a Trap too. I guess I should be expecting all of these traps because Trapdoor. But goodness, the Fate Foreseen was not something I was expecting. Flipping into Redback is one of the better ones for us because it isn't a very good one for Marionette. And they did decide to take 2 from the Blood Rot and Arsenal card, which is great. Our CNC is active. So we open with Infect. We get to Arsenal a Sink Below, which is one of our better arsenals against Assassin. So I'm feeling okay so far. We are in a fine position. They even take 3 and a Blood Rot. So it's clear that they want to keep 5 cards here, or at least we're intending to block whatever the next thing is. Cashie's List plays Fate over Shelter. You're already so positive against Syndra that makes sense. But knowing that Shelter is not really a thing from Marionette anymore is pretty good to know. Incoming $50 flick would still be cheaper than it was a few months ago. Get a T-Tox and a Savor Bloodshed? That is a great place for me to be. 2 very powerful cards from Marionette. Clearly protecting the arsenal. We draw into our own T-Tox, which is interesting. Our Desired Body, taking my hero power, that's cheating. How do I want to deal with this? I'm sort of expecting that Redback is going to discard to make this go again. Already go again, but another 3. What's Command and Conquer? Is that card good? Command and Conquer is a good card. It's especially good in my arsenal. I think what I want to do is block with T-Tox here. Arachne discards, I Sink Below. My turn is going to be Mark, Flick, Take Up. Not take up into anything, just deal 6 and get a card from my opponent. Stains is fine. I didn't put Arachne on Stains, maybe I should have. I'm still just gonna Sink Below. And if Arachne discards, this is an interesting spot to be in. Do I sink this one, or do I let this happen? I have a decent number of non-reds in my deck, so it's possible that Arachne doesn't hit. This one I am going to let go through. Ah, well. We do lose a red. Arachne gains a life. We lose a Justinek, which is kind of okay. Really don't mind that. Redback gets to keep an arsenal, but so do we. And now we send Mark of the Black Widow. I do intend to flick this. Again, we are going to take up the mantle. There's nothing for me to take up into that's really all that good. I don't know if I take up into Kiss of Death, I don't have a follow-up. Go ahead and flick here. Take up and pass. Maybe we get another defense reaction. We don't, so we are just getting a banish for Marionette. And then we're going to end our turn. Suppose I could have used Prey Spotters there. Codex is a little early. So we do have lines. Because we have the CNC in Arsenal, I do have the line of block with one of my blues, pitch T-Tox and a blue to Hunter's Clave for 1 go again, float 2. Hunter's Clave coming in for 5. How much do I care about this? Enemy Marionette does not have any good Codex targets. and does have Tunic up. I'm deciding if enemy Marionette is going to play CNC. So I don't super care about sinking this. I do care about not getting CNC'd while I have a D-React in Arsenal. So I am going to sink here. Is there anything in particular that I need to sink? I think the answer is no. Though I might sink the Knight's Embrace as just a card that I... You are flicking me. What are you holding, like? Wouldn't be Stains. Is it this thing? Are you to the pointing me? Meat Madness is a pretty good card to find. So I sank the Knight's Embrace because it was something that I was either just going to block with or pitch. It wasn't something that I was going to play. Okay, it was just an Orb Weaver Spinneret. This is like not a good line. I could block with Prey Spotters here just to get my value from it. But I'm really not intending to use it this turn. My line is going to be Meat Madness into Overpitch to Clave into Codex CNC. I don't need to worry about the Prey Spotters here. What I do like is that I'm taking 5. I'm losing my mark so that Marionette will not get to flip. And more importantly than that, will not get to break Mask of Deceit here. So open with Meat Madness. The first time we're playing Meat Madness, there's a 1/3 chance that this is going to be relevant against our opponent. I guess 2/3. I've never had an Assassin Mirror go to Fatigue, but I know it's possible for that to happen. Also realizing that Meat Madness Codex of Frailty is a pretty decent line. Flick was over 100, so I'll still take that. $50 Flick Knives is still like, I don't know, reasonable. All right, opponent, let's see if I punish you for your arrogance. No, we hit the top. Well, we hit the top card of the deck. It was like, was that as good as it could have been? Absolutely not. Was it as bad as it could have been? No. We had a 1/3 chance to do absolutely nothing, so still not bad. Why are you attacking for 2, Hunter's Clave? Oh, because of piercing. Opponent just does a blind flip into Tarantula. That's pretty good for me. And now I get to do the cool line. Thank you. Single copy of CNC in our graveyard. Banish off the top is still fine. Yeah, it's like, and especially we hit a Savor Bloodshed, which we've now seen 2 of from our opponent. Like, it is a power card. I don't mind hitting it. Meat Madness is the local butchery special. I know they wouldn't. You took Pain in the backside. I assume you're just sacking your arsenal. I guess you don't have to. Pain is a 0 for 5 that on hit marks me. I get why they didn't, because it's an assassin card, not a Runeblade card, and Runeblade has meet and greet, but I'm really sad it isn't Meat Madness like ME80. Cool, you did just sack the arsenal. I get a Ponder trigger. There's really no world where I'm not arsenaling. It's, oh my god, it's Leave No Witnesses. It's not the best card to put in my arsenal. It can be a little awkward to get value from. Hunter's Clave attacking for 0. Thank you, Frailty. How much do I care about this? My line is probably going to be... I don't think I need this spike. I'm anticipating my line is going to be something like Orb Weaver Spinneret, Meat Madness, Infect, Break Steps, Leave No Witnesses. I'm not going to worry about this Clave. I guess you can do this, and I take 4 and get marked. So maybe this is wrong. I'll be honest with you, Chad, I forgot that Tarantula has text. because they never flip into this by choice. So we take 4, we get marked. We're still holding the spike with Blood Rot. Which now, to be fair, if I take my line of Spinneret, Meat Madness, Infect, Stalkers, Leave No Witnesses, I just Arsenal a spike. It's like, there are worse things for me to Arsenal. Also, ending the turn marked is not super relevant without Mask of Deceit. What's cool about this line now is that Meat Madness has 3 active modes really, but 2 of them are very bad for Marionette. Depending on how they block, I can also play Spike with Blood Rot by pitching Infect, which is not terrible. And it saves my steps, which is fine. That is probably what I'll do, unless they say no blocks, in which case, sure. We get the Arsenal, which is honestly not as good as it could have been because I have Leave No Witnesses. I would have rather gotten a card from hand, but, you know, it is what it is. I'm still going to break steps here to play out the Leave No Witnesses, and then having Leave No Witnesses in graveyard isn't terrible if we find another Codex. The only downside with this line is arsenaling a reaction in Slippy can be bad. Depending on how our next hand lines up, if we draw like D-React, attack reaction, Codex, then we just don't have a way to play Codex. But I do have a decent number of thank God. I draw a stealth attack. I would like to not block this turn. Because this hand slaps. This Double Trouble attacks for 11 with double Blood Rot. And then, like, here's a Calycera at the end. Do I care about this Calycera? I don't. Because this will clear my mark, which I'm pretty happy with. We're still sitting on this shelter. Now what I can do is discard the shelter to stop the clave, but I just don't think I really care. Now I'm just going to play Shelter from the Storm. Which again, maybe I shouldn't care about this. If this is Leave No Witnesses, then I'm kind of sad. It was Leave No Witnesses, and now I'm kind of sad. But I can block like this. It's fine. I still get an active Double Trouble. This line is going to be... I guess open with Hunter's Clave. Steven, good morning. I didn't think you'd be here. Because you're in Seattle now, right? I assumed you would be playing in some side event. But I'm glad you are here. I think we're sending Hunter's Clave here. I'm going to flick to turn on my Double Trouble. I think it's fine that I flick Calycera. I also should have started with this Double Trouble instead of the Hunter's Clave, so that's on me. I would have withheld more information. My opponent would have possibly ended the turn marked. So yeah, that was an oops. Let's see if our opponent has another D-React. They do not. So we deal 2, we get a Blood Rot. Opponent's going to banish the top 2. Up 6 and run is kind of a good card, but, you know, whatever. I am, but it's the same time zone as you. I just figured you'd be like doing something now. This hand is great. It's 8:44. Shouldn't you be playing in like CC double up in 16 minutes or something? I'm not complaining, I'm just saying. Tunic, I assume, means Calicera. There it is. For 2, I'm not blocking. This is not lethal damage. This clears my mark. There's nothing Arachne can do that makes this lethal damage. We also have to play around the 2 T-Toxes that are still in our opponent's deck. I just take 5 here. Whatever this is, I have a shelter for it. Or they just pass the turn. Okay, so pitch to blue to prevent the blood rot. That's great with me. Infiltrate has a very relevant on hit. I have Razor's Edge to push it through. Though likely saving Razor's Edge for the... I don't know that I need to save it for the next Infiltrate. I can play it here. Potentially get more value out of my turn. We're only interested in the Pummel event at 5. We still have to find a nice breakfast place. That is pretty... That... You know what? That is a good decision. Save your vouchers for the Pummel. Just enjoy Seattle. What are your plans for the day? I've been to Seattle a handful of times, but I don't know enough about, like, I couldn't tell you what my itinerary for a day in Seattle would be. There is a Pummel promo for Seattle. It's the Japanese Pummel. The Japanese art style Pummel. Just get more blocks from our opponent. That's fine. I arsenal the shelter, which is potentially bad. This hand is a functional hand of cards. Unfortunately, I cannot use Take Up the Mantle, which means I'm probably just blocking with it. My line is going to be Orb Weaver Spinneret, send the Calicera for 4, go against CNC. I have nothing to do with the Take Up the Mantle. I don't really want to end my turn marked. Arachne can hit me with the Calicera. I'm like, okay. They cannot flick me. They could, but I would not end the turn marked. I can now flick this Calicera if I really want to. I won't. I have 2 more Codexes in the deck. So I now have my line of Pitch Blue, Calicera, Codex, CNC. As soon as I clear out my arsenal, I have 1 Mark of the Black Widow left, 1 Mantle left, though I did pitch that early, so I don't think I'm going to get to Mantle this turn. So sick, perfect for Syndra. Of course, when I think of heroes that play Pummel, it's always Syndra. Same outlook for today's Seattle schedule. Plus, I did not want to try and pick up package to try and register for the 9 a.m. CC, just Pummel event today. It's a good decision. What format is the Pummel event? I'm curious. I think I do flick my Calicera here. If they're blocking 3, they can't de-react this, so I'll just put them to 1. If this is Kashi's list that doesn't have shelter in it, then the next Flick Knives just kills them. Horrors of the Past here is like, okay. I can block with Leave No Witnesses. Infect, Clave, Horrors. I shouldn't do that. That's not as good. We just block with Horrors. Are you playing normal Slippy or base life gain Slippy? There's a life gain Slippy. I am not playing life gain Slippy. I'm sorry, you're flicking. Oh, right. You get the Clave over. I'm marked. I take 1 from the Kiss. Oh, you're T-toxing me. Okay. I guess I'll shelter here. I think I still win this game. Just pummel your Wrath of Retribution. Okay, it's CC. Double up CC. That's pretty cool. And it's good prep for tomorrow. No, my Shifty Prince, I've played against his Pummel Syndra list. It is not pummeling the things you would expect. Why, yes, opponent. I will allow you to remember that my dagger has piercing. I mean, the game is over, right? Clave gets a card, Infect gets a card, Leave No Witnesses gets 2 cards. I'm going to flick the Clave. Wrath, Blood Runs Deep, Bleed Out, that's 3 for 5. Bloodline, of course, CNC. Cracked this at midnight and played a game instantly. I am subhuman and played the Rage Baiters, though. You played Rage Baiters Slippy or Rage Baiters Marionette? I think Rage Baiters and Marionette is sick. The more I think about it, the more I do not like Flick Knives in Marionette. There's a Slippy list. It's all about graveyard hate and stealth cards that have incidental life gain. Plays a lot like new, used to accept more aggressive and gaining 20 life in a game. I'm interested to know more. I don't hate learning more about this deck. I assume Marionette gives me Flick Knives and a card. I'm going to flick my Hunter's Clave, and if this is a Shelter, or like, I don't know, Solace, then I'm sad. Their next hand finds some Codexes, and sort of an awkward hand to use them with. I guess not that awkward. Block with Body, play Cut, send a Dagger, Codex will Leave No Witnesses. My deck finds kind of an okay draw if I have no daggers, if they somehow manage to live through this turn. I get to do Double Trouble for 1 go again, play Codex, discard Codex, send CNC. Is Rage Baiter Slippy. Rage Baiter Slippy seems interesting. It's just so many blues. Like, I never want to pitch anything. So pitching to Rage Baiters feels like I need to run more blues than I really want to for this aggressive deck. And Slippy doesn't have enough marked payoffs. Against Gravy Bones. This is interesting. We used to want to go first and just push damage. I'm going to try going second, and that might be wrong. So against Gravy, we play Balance, we play Tunic. We bring in our Go Again, and that gets us to 60. There is a world where we play 63 with Sink Below, which is what Slippy's used to do, to have some kind of counterplay into Fatigue. Like, it was never plan A, but it could be plan B if they just saw all of their... I'm going to do it. If they just saw all of their Conquerors in, like, the first 5 turns of the game, you could just put your opponent on not being able to kill you anymore if you just controlled the board. It was also just a nice play for... it's bait, right? It's bait for Conqueror. Is Rage Baiters Mario off most of the Dagger package? I think so. I think they're probably still playing like T-Talk, Saver, but I would have to imagine that they're off like Scar Tissue, To the Point. Well, opponent found turn 0 Chum, which is what we didn't want them to find. Especially because this hand is... Oh, never mind. This hand is maybe okay. I get to block with Spike and Take Up. To try to find more action to kill the Chum. I wouldn't describe it as a good version of the deck, but it sure is a lot of fun. Isn't fun the best thing to have? This hand is pretty good. So this hand is going to do Pain in the Backside at Chum, Kiss of Death at Chum, Horror's Gravy, and force a block. It's kind of okay. We did find the Go Again that we needed. We're also just killing Chum here. My hand doesn't do well at pushing damage through onto Gravy. like, if I send the pain in the backside at Gravy, and then Gravy activates Chum, my hand is not good at killing Chum. So I unfortunately have to kill Chum first. Morning stream from Seattle. Oh, I'm not in Seattle, Nick. I am still in good old Rancho Cordova. Cool. Gravy did not have Fearless Confrontation. So now we are sending an active Horrors, which is cool. If the Horrors hits, then we do 3. Which, you know, is that the best thing I could do with a Horrors? No. But is it something I can do with Horrors? Sure. We're going to get a card. Yeah. You get a gold for my Take Up the Mantle. Aren't you cool? Flick the Kiss. Just Arsenal a Sink. Another nice line with Sink Below is opponent does like Chum into, like loot the hold into Chum. We can easily just block 4. This hand is not bad. What do I get to do with this hand? Unfortunately, I'm going to have to kill this Rigor Mortis, most likely. So I might not get to do, like, what I want to do with this hand is, of course, Prognosis just to nick E-Strike opponent's face. I might not get to do that. Opponent activates gold. You've drawn 1 card this turn. See what opponent's going to do. It's Rigor Mortis, I think. I am blocking with E-Strike. I'm going to Prognosis Gravy with Justinek, and then I will double trouble the Rigor Mortis. I think that's a fine line. See with the Skirmish Saturday then. You couldn't pay me to play Blitz. You will not see me at the Skirmish, Nick. I'm sorry to say. How cool would it have been if Gravy didn't have a turn 0 Chum? So I'm not currently on a fatigue plan for Gravy. I am still trying to race Gravy. Albeit I am keeping the board clear. I'll pay your entry fee. I don't even have a Blitz deck. Just to nick both modes. Let's see if opponent is holding a D-React. Opponent is not holding a D-React. Do just to nick first. I don't gain a life because I'm sad. I do gain a life. So I hit a Loan Shark off the top and took an Anka from your hand. You were holding Portside Exchange and Golden Tipple. Those are pretty sick ones for you to be holding when I hit your only yellow. So opponent can, I don't know what the arsenal is, but from hand, opponent just can't do it. Opponent can Tipple, play Sawbones, pass, because they have not done Dead Threads. Does this hand do anything relevant? Not particularly. This hand does. Yeah, this hand kind of does nothing very well. This hand says Clave, Flick, Orb Weaver, Calicera, either play Leave No Witnesses and IP the CNC, or use Tunic, pitch Leave No Witnesses to play CNC, depending what opponent has in arsenal. Go win me the shock. Opponent plays Scuba. So, opponent plays Scuba. Am I playing around Fearless Confrontation? I think the answer is yes. I'm going to Clave Scuba. I'm going to Flick Knives. I'm going to Break Chain. Play Spinneret. Calicera Scuba. Tunic. CNC. So this is a sad decision for me to make. Do I IP the CNC and play the Leave No Witnesses? Or do I pitch the Leave No Witnesses and play the CNC? And the reason I chose to play the CNC, there are two reasons. The first is I have 2 more copies of Leave No Witnesses in my deck, so I feel pretty okay that by the time I find a Codex, I will have a Leave No Witnesses to get back. The other reason is that I now have a Calicera, so if I find blue and Codex, without Tunic, I do have a line to Calicera Codex CNC. Having it also plays around Blood in the Water much better. So having the Codex in the CNC in Arsenal felt better than having the Leave No Witnesses in Arsenal. So you Jittery Bones from hand, Rigor Mortis off the top. That's pretty sick. This hand is not super functional. I'm taking 2 here. What I'm likely doing is blocking with Sink Below. I could sink the Razor's Edge, but I don't love that plan. I might just not sink anything. Played Belittle. That's pretty good. I wonder what cards they're going to ban from Gravy on Monday. I hope it's many of them. Because, like, what did we have? Jittery Bones, draw a card from the top of the deck. Use the Dead Threads. Use the Tunic that the Jittery Bones got by drawing a card. Play Belittle. And actually draw no cards doing this so that my Balance of Justice is not online. Does that all seem good, chat? How do you all feel about that? Does that seem like a reasonable thing for a hero to do? Don't hate on my boy. I would love to not hate on your boy if your boy wasn't committing war crimes. Yeah, Gravy is problematic. You ban a few, but not too many. Well, we just saw 0 for 5 go again. Belittle. Spring Tunic. Pitching Call to the Grave should tell you the real power of what our Gravy is doing here. All right, enough complaining from me. This is an interesting decision. So my line is going to be probably trying to think of how I use Pick Up the Point if I even want to. So I can block 4 with Sink Below. I can also block 3 with Razor's Edge. Take 3 and hold the Sink Below. So I have a few lines. My line can be Pick Up the Point, Sawbones, kill it. Pain in the Backside, Gravy, Calicera, Clave. I could also, like, Pain in the Backside, Gravy, flick a dagger. I get my 1 either way. It's just, would I rather have a Calicera or 2 Claves again? And I think the answer is I would rather have a Calicera than 2 Claves. Because of the CNC, but maybe that's just wrong. And do I want to save the Sink Below, keeping in mind that we have not seen a Conqueror yet? I'm going to do this. The only problem with this line is I have to send Pain in the Backside at Gravy first so that I can flick the Calicera. And if Gravy blocks with Sunken Treasure, of which we've seen 2, then I lose my Calicera and I'm just kind of sad. I guess that's fine though. Seems normal enough to me. Ban 10 or more max cards. Nick, I'm not going to Seattle. I kind of wish I was, but I've traveled enough this year. So the next big event that I'm going to is San Diego. Cool. The other problem with this is I'm giving Sawbones potential value. Okay, JK. Now we pick up the point Sawbones. I do pay. Oop. My daggers are facing my hero, which is terrible. I feel really bad about it. And then I clave Gravy. Yeah, Seattle's going to be a lot of fun. I'm jealous of everyone who's in Seattle. I think you're going to have a great time, especially with the Pummel promo events. That's sick. Those are good-looking Pummels. But you know what? Maybe it gets banned in Silver Age, and then I don't play heroes in CC who actually run Pummel. Ban Swell so I don't have to run Back Alley Breakline. I want to shake up my Gravy lists. Okay, our opponent played Pot of Greed. Ah, but they're not as good. They only turned on their hero and drew 1 card instead of 2. But I guess they made a gold, so kind of they drew 2 cards, you know? What does this hand do? This hand at some point plays a Sink Below. And then maybe plays another Sink Below. Depending on their line, I might just sink bottom sink. So it's going to be Avasti, Break Chain, play Rigor Mortis. Will they get to... This was from their graveyard. So they will not get to attack with Rigor Mortis? I have to ask my opponent. Because I'm not sure, I'm not following. Will you get to attack with Rigor after playing? Can't remember how that works. Because if they can't play the Rigor, I'm going to sink the sink. So I know they could pay for the attack. I don't know if they'll have the action point after playing Rigor. Oh, you can use Rum to give it go again. Okay. All right, so I'm not going to sink my sink. Which means what I will probably need to do... Yeah, that's the gold-baited hook, which I expected you to do. There it is. Okay, so I expected them to do that, because this is now going to be balance, block with sink. What is your ally situation? You have no allies. So I'm in an interesting spot. I can sink my Codex and try to find something with go again, but I think I'm not going to sink the Codex, and what I'm going to do instead is pitch Codex to clave Rigor, then infect Leave No Witnesses Chum. And if our opponent has Fearless Confrontation, then they're just the best player. hope the ban list they put James White on mic and he just says sometimes the hero text itself is the mistake, and permabans Chain, Starvo, Gravy, and any other heroes that slighted me from the game. Indigo, I feel like you're the voice that we're missing in the BNR crash out scene. Our opponent asking where Chum is. There are visual bugs with Talishar at times. I noticed this with my opponent a couple weeks ago. I had like 4 rune chants on board and I couldn't see any of them. Sometimes things on the board just disappear. Opponent, did you just find Fearless on top of your deck? There it is. Oh, boy. Well, now I'm going to infect this rigger. Have yours go first. Unfortunately, Chum is going to survive this turn. I'm also now going to ignore the Chum. Let's put to leave no witnesses into my graveyard. Fearless should actually have an errata. I would love for Fearless to have an errata, and I say that as someone who has just bought their playset of Fearless. For KO, just want everyone to know I'm not out here committing gravy war crimes. I bought it for KO because it is Mighty Windup that blocks 3. Gravy's hero text is not on the level of Chain and Starvo. Oh my god, find another ally on top of the deck. Our opponent has found pretty good stuff on the top of the deck. What errata? I would say either errata. So there are a few things you could do with Fearless Confrontation, considering that it came out in Mastery Pack Guardian. You either errata Fearless to, say, target Guardian attack gets -1 and loses and can't gain Dominate, or you errata Fearless Confrontation to be a Guardian attack. I would say those are the 2 things you could do. Josh Fiasco 2025, I'm out here creating gravy war crimes. No, I said I'm not doing that. I think I'm taking 6, unfortunately, and my line is going to be Mark of the Black Widow. I guess I could Mark of the Black Widow Gravy. I think I'm taking 6 here, unfortunately. We can Mark of the Black Widow Gravy. I could also just Clave Rigger. I have the Tunic up now, so I'm not as blown out by Fearless Confrontation. Clave Rigger, E-Strike Chum, Arsenal Mark. If my opponent does Fearless Confrontation me, I'm kind of in a decent spot. Fearless becoming a card that just screws Guardians would be so funny. That class can never win. But it came out in Mastery Pack Guardian. I feel like the point of the card was to screw Guardian. Like, why else does the card exist? Can we fatigue Gravy? I probably can. What I'm concerned about with trying to fatigue Gravy is I haven't seen Conquerors yet. I'm going to Mark of the Black Widow Gravy. Try to get a reaction out of them, and then I will E-Strike Chum. Slippy cannot fatigue Gravy. Slippy can, it just isn't your plan A. So in my experience, and again, this was back when Bonds of Agony was legal, so it might not be right anymore. My experience with fatiguing Gravy is you need to see all of their Conquerors early. And when you see all of their Conquerors early, that's when you can say, okay, I have blocked out the Conquerors. Gravy doesn't have damage left. If I just control the board, then I will win the game. So Gravy has no allies in Yard, which is great. I found a Codex of Frailty, which is also kind of okay. Well, Slippy can't fatigue a good Gravy. Slippy can fatigue Gravy so long as they have a clear soul and a pure heart. You're so right. Let's see how good our opponent is at the game. I lose a game when the Gravy just had 2 cards in deck. Slippy can't fatigue a Gravy who is prepared for fatigue. Okay, so our opponent is not good at the game. Oh wow, our opponent's really falling apart here. So what am I doing? I guess I can block this with Leave No Witnesses. Opponent has Anka on top. I can block this with Leave No Witnesses. My turn is Creep. Play T-Tox on the Creep. Codex a Leave No Witnesses, which I guess is fine. It's either that or I take 3. Creep, T-Tox, Leave No Witnesses, Arsenal, Codex, and they get punished by opponent having... 1, I'm at 17, and 2, I get punished if my opponent has a Conqueror. I'm expecting Gravy's turn to... Oh, I guess it wasn't just over. You find the Anka on top. You cannot pay for it, so this is just 4. I will block 3 with T-Tox. When Bonds was the thing you could, but as it stands right now, Slippy can't fatigue a good Gravy. I think it depends on if the Gravy's playing Remembrance or not. Do you say things like that in paper? Wow, you are not that good after they misplay? I definitely say that. If my opponent plays Chart the High Seas, Ancestral Harmony, any of the, like, how good am I at this game, and then they're not good at it, I tell them they're bad at the game. I'm sorry, Taylor, do you not BM your opponents frequently? That's so weird. I think your opponent needs a few more Gravy games. It's over now. I don't know enough about Gravy to know where they're misplaying. I feel like it's not over. They still have all their armor. They have a Crown of Providence, and I'm about to let them use it. We also still haven't seen a Conqueror, and I'm running out of armor. Mr. Fiasco, did they see they reworked the Demonastery lore and removed Steve the Gardener from the game? Steve no longer exists on Wraith. RIP. But I'm known the biggest BMer. Eventually we'll run into each other and then we'll get to see. You find a Saltwater Swell. Ooh, does that mean my opponent is going to protect their arsenal? I don't hate that. Heard my name while I was tabbed out and got confused. No, different Taylor. Oh, I mean the turn is over. Yeah. Where did the scuba come from? Oh, it was your hand. And they make a gold with Sunken Treasure from my Codex. I look forward to announcing that Mr. Fiasco is bad at the game to an audience of thousands at some point. I don't think I play cards. I guess you could get me on, like, a bad Ponder. I was definitely supposed to flick knives here. Whatever. It doesn't matter. I think Gravy can stack their blue card into a big combo at the late game. Ooh, we find a Sink Below. I'm a good gamer, confirmed. This hand is kind of okay. Finds a blue on top of the deck because you're the best gamer. What happens when you Conqueror me? I just Sink Below it. So I'm not blocking this. What am I doing on my turn? I get to do, like, Persuasive, play Knight's Embrace. You give me... Or I get to play Persuasive T-Tox. I got lines. Against Slippy is never want to go down to 0 gold. Oh, it's a Rabble? Oh, because you're going to Anka me. Okay. Or Scuba, whatever. Well, I'm not blocking this one. All right, how am I dealing with the Anka? Have we seen a Prismatic yet? They pitched one. I guess they could just double ally, and I'm kind of sad about it. Draw a card. All right, hooking this. Hook is great. I get sync value. They make it gold, which I'm sad about. You put my horrors on the bottom of my deck? I guess you just don't have yellows yet. Heal the slipsters. So I'm sinking. Am I sinking anything? I think the answer is no. I guess I could sink the T-Tox, which is not super relevant right now. How do I kill this Scuba, and do I even need to do that? I could sink Knight's Embrace, which I'm kind of... Yeah, let's sink Knight's Embrace. Find a Meat Madness. Why did they give you back horrors? Well, they didn't have any yellows. They had an Anka. And they just drew with the gold, which I also disagreed with. I might just ignore this Scuba. As much as ignoring the Scuba might not be right, I might just do it. I think I'm going to Meat Madness my opponent. My follow-up to Meat Madness can be Double Trouble with maybe T-Tox Stalkers, or it could be Flick Knife Stalkers. I definitely don't mind flipping. T-Tox Flexors. I always forget that I can T-Tox Flexors. I could T-Tox Blood in the Water, but I don't think that's a good play anymore. Now maybe it's a better play? Do not T-Tox Flexors. I think we T-Tox here. Let's get the Meat Madness. We know the top of our opponent's deck is like a real card. I also have the 1 and 3. All right. Or I just get Blood in the Water again, which is still fine. I will happily trade my T-Tox for your last Blood in the Water. And you discard Oyston? Why didn't you discard Oyston on the first one? Bad use of defense reactions. I didn't love it. Chat, am I cooked for leaving Scuba alive? Vasti Call to the Grave. Don't hate that. And I will Prognosis Gravy. I could get Crown here, I suppose. They don't have Hook, which is why I'm doing this. If they give me Flexors, I'm super up. If they give me Death Threats, I'm super up. If they give me Crown, it's not that good, but I still have 2 Codexes. I'll leave no witnesses and a CNC in my deck. So I don't hate that line either. Opponent's at 26 cards to my 35. I'm still very concerned about the Conquerors that I haven't seen. But outside of that, like, I'd have to kill this Scuba, but Fatigue is not terrible. I still have... I still have 2. I did see an Orb Weaver Spinneret. I still have 2. My Tunic is going to be up. Opponent lets it connect. Are we up tremendous? Alright, we got the quick dodge on the Prognosis. I don't hate this. This Gravy is going to give me an aneurysm. Just don't get too excited. I could still lose this game. This Justinic blocks 3. This Knight's Embrace Might also block for 3. I guess I could, depending on what they do, I could block with Justinic, Kiss of Death, Knight's Embrace the Scuba. If the Scuba lives through Fearless Confrontation, I Tunic, Creep, Clave it. If this is just Chum, send 4, pass, I might have to kill the Chum. Oyston is another ally that I will never kill. Hook, Scuba. I think I unfortunately need to let this connect. I will block with Justinic. And I think I am actually just ignoring these two. I might get punished for this, but I think I'm just sending 10 damage at Gravy's face and saying, you figure it out. I'm confused about the choice of Oyston here. Yeah, I didn't love the Oyston play. I thought it was going to be the Chum, and I was kind of sad that I was going to have to deal with Chum. Here I'm putting Gravy to 6 if they don't block. If they do block, I'm putting them to 2. Also, Gravy having a bunch of gold here isn't necessarily bad because I haven't broken my balance yet. And so if they overextend on card draw, then I get a 5-card hand, which I would love. Oh yeah, you can punish him for not playing Chum, 100%. Also the correct hand of cards away from being able to say, here's damage at your face. If you Chum it, it doesn't matter. Got a bunch of allies over there, no way to attack with them a lot. Gravy has drawn 1 card. Did you draw 2? Portside Exchange. You have drawn 2 cards. Okay, you gravied and portsided. Attack with Sawbones. Let's break balance here. Finding Pain in the backside is pretty good. What do I get to do with this hand? He's drawn 2? Yeah. I think I block with Horrors. This hand gets to Pain in the backside. This hand gets to Orbweaver, Spinneret, Pitch Horrors to Calycera, Sawbones. We'd play around the Fearless Confrontation. Pain in the backside, Gravy. Codex, Tunic, CNC, which I do have. That's pretty good. Play Spinneret. Okay, you're going to Compass. Opponent really getting punished for not playing Chum, ever. Like, Chum is the only ally left that I have to respect. I could also just disrespect Sawbones at this point, and maybe that's the right thing to do. I actually don't hate that line at all. I might get totally punished for disrespect, like Scuba, whatever. It's the 1-card 4 that makes gold, and that is a problem. I will never kill Oyston. Sawbones is something I could choose to respect, but don't need to. Oh my god, you're giving me 2 whole cards on the Calycera? We're up tremendous. Chum is the... What? Oh, because of T-Tox? which I've seen 2 of. Ooh, and you just gave me Crown? This is so good for me. Oh my god. I think you're disrespecting all the allies. He's low. If you can kill Sawbones, do it, but you might just be able to take him out. That's the idea. And the Sawbones, yes, has an ability to keep Gravy alive, but it also means that Sawbones is being tapped and not attacking me, which is what I'm really afraid of Sawbones doing. Brick Arsenal. What was like a Brick Arsenal, discard Eye to Gravy. This is, I mean, the Gravy is in a very bad spot here. But I also feel like it is a spot of the Gravy's own making. So I just get an Arsenal here. Gravy can't protect this. There are no D-reacts left, which, I mean, doesn't matter at this point. It's a CNC. Bro is terrified of T-Tox. This is one of those situations. First of all, you've seen 2 of them. There are 2 in my graveyard. You have to just put me on, if I have it, you die. And if I don't have it, you're in a pretty good spot. Hey, I would have been correct in playing around the Fearless Confrontation if I killed the Sawbones. Taking 2, I get your Arsenal, which was the Conqueror you just blocked with. You are playing Whaler. It is hard filtering to go and try to find cards that block. What do I ponder? Infect is fine. It's not great with this hand. You're at 3, so the on-hits don't really matter anymore. You are flickable. What do I have? It's just Double Trouble, right? It's play Infect. Oh, GG. Opponent just wants to scoop it up. All right, that's reasonable. I'm very much going to win this game. Opponent did have the 2 Conquer. This is really, like, you can make some arguments that the Gravy misplayed. Definitely not running out Chum was a mistake. But the big thing that won me this game is that 3 Conquerors were in... It was turn 10 before my opponent saw a Conqueror. This was going to be a flickable turn for sure. So this hand would have been Infect at Gravy, flick the Clave to mark him, take up the Mantle into Double Trouble to send 8 on a 2 health opponent. Opponent had 2 blocks is the big problem. He can Gravy the Anka into a 3 block, but what's he gonna do? Put 3 in front of Infect. I put him to 2. I take up Double Trouble onto 5. I guess I actually, no. I do need to kill Sawbones if I'm gonna go for a flick line. So if I have to kill Sawbones to go for a flick line, then I go Black Widow into Sawbones, kill it. Then I Infect, flick, take up into Double Trouble, and I can pitch Meat Madness to Spike. If I definitely win this turn, I have to kill the Sawbones before I flick, or else the turn kind of doesn't work. I can think of bendy turns they misplayed. Gravy's a hard deck. I will never hold it against someone for like seriously misplaying on Gravy, especially on Talishar. Come on, this is where we go to make mistakes. If you register Gravy for a tournament in like a calling, and you don't necessarily see the lines, that I'm like, Okay, Syndra. Armor all looks good. I am testing Prey Spotters into Syndra against instead of Balance of Justice. Yes, Syndra does have turns where she'll draw 2 cards, but she also plays Shelter, and so I'm playing Prey Spotters so that my Black Widows and Take-Ups will connect. We put in 6 D-Reacts, we put in 3 Infiltrates, and we say go. We even find Shelter on turn 0, which is pretty good. Practice makes perfect, 100%. 100% Heiyun Cheng, excuse me. This is where you go to make mistakes. I'm okay with this. Am I flicking here? I don't love that idea, but I think I have to like try to do something with Double Trouble. I'll send Clave first. Actually, I should not send Clave first. I should double trouble first, so that I can end the turn with my opponent marked. It's not great damage. It's a 3-card 9. But this hand was not great. We get some poopers. We clave. I like that I get to arsenal the shelter from the storm. I like that my opponent is marked. I love seeing people do the gravy thing. Oh, that makes one of us. I mean, we got there. I'm not going to complain about getting there, but our opponent did have some lines that game that seemed very, very strong. What am I doing this turn? If I can just block with T-Tox and Spike, I'll feel okay. Arsenal Orb Weaver. I don't need to block this. I can block the next thing. I could also sink probably T-Tox. I don't care about this Ancestral Empowerment. Do you wonder what they're going to do about Syndra on Monday? They have so many options for how to deal with Syndra. We can take this Blaze Headlong. I need to block the next thing. If opponent is empowering the first Fire Tenant, I assume they just don't have D-Reacts. Or A-Reacts, or, Jesus, they don't have Ninja attacks if they have to Ancestral the first one. So I'm guessing this is Blaze Headlong. They flick to keep the chain alive. Probably Lava Burst. What does Slippy Hat do? It gives a free mark. Battle Worn 1, attack reaction, destroy this mark, target opposing hero. Let's Shelter here. Much as I want to fix my hand with this Sink Below, I will get to play the Sink Below. Does opponent use Vest? No, interesting. Dragon Blood will draw you a card and do nothing else. I could sink T-Tox and try to find some action. I could also just block with T-Tox, Spinneret, Pitch Spike, send 4, Arsenal Sink. None of my options are very good because I don't have an attack in this hand. And if I sink the T-Tox into something that just does, like, another non-attack, I guess I'm okay-ish with that. Sick. Great. Play Spinneret, pitch T-Tox, send 4, Arsenal Spike, be sad. Love to sink a T-Tox into a T-Tox. Leave Syndra with a 5-card hand. I'm clearing my own mark. Unfortunate. Where are my, like, attacks? Where are my cards that do things? Hey, we got a card out of Syndra. I don't hate that. Yeah, Rose, this game is not going great. But listen, this is where we turn it around. This is not where we turned it around. I'm just aggressively blocking. I don't need to block the first thing. Don't block the first thing. We will block the next things. Yeah, opponent also drew kind of a pooper. I wish my hand was better. Guess I'm just blocking 6 and, like, being sad. Just hold this Shelter. Holding Shelter kind of isn't the worst thing for me to be doing. If I had thought about this decision more instead of just clicking through it, I actually would have sheltered the flick there so that Syndra would not have been able to rebuy the daggers. Y'all are both drawn kind of weird. I could have made this turn much better by bricking Syndra's Dagger Retrieval, and instead I just clicked through it, because I'm dumb. Here I'm giving Syndra the opportunity to convert cards, which I don't love. But I'm still like one turn away from being able to do something kind of not terrible. Jesus Christ. This is a real... I'm going to discard a Shelter here. Just to get my 1, because I know the follow-up is going to be a Dagger. I'll even give you the Shroud, because I'm going to use it. We all make these mistakes on Tally. It's true. It's so easy to just click through. Well, I have a floating prevention effect, so... I will, in fact, say no blocks. Brand for 3, go again. This will be the first thing that actually connects with me. I am okay taking this damage. Snatch, I'm going to sink this Shelter. I guess this... I'm not going to sink the Shelter. I'm just going to play the sink. Flick Knives me, you did not need the resource. And you're not going to Flight Path. Cool. So I get to prog Spike, which again, not the most incredible thing I can be doing, but it is disruption. It's potentially life gain. The problem is if Syndra has a D-React, I just don't get there. All right, we connect. We deal 4. We deal effectively 6. I'm probably gaining 2 life. Which of my opponent's cards? Choose which card you want your opponent to banish. Well, these all do things. I guess it's going to be Ignite, because Ignite will turn... Weird one. It could also just be Hunt the Hunter, because my opponent has Vest. This is my last Shelter, so I cannot draw one to prevent the flick. Yeah, I think the highest damage card is Hunt the Hunter. So it's Ignite. I will block the Dagger with Prey Spotters. You're all late. Where were all of you? I can do Prognosis. I'm definitely blocking with some of these. I'm probably blocking with the Infect. And I'm going to like pitch to Clave. Mark of the Black Widow, get a card. Prognosis, maybe get a card. Which means I should just block with Double Trouble. I have the Prey Spotters. Yeah, I don't even need to flick the Clave. We'll see what my opponent does. Assassin's a class I played a lot against. I played against a lot, but never as. It's hard for me to find the lines in your hand, but I can play against them probably. Assassin lines are tricky because a lot of the time, the last card in your hand is a Rabble. I don't know what your arsenal is. So I am blocking this. This forces you to flick. This is damage I can take. And we just Shelter this. Prevent the draw. You are holding a cut through. Yeah, now we draw the attacks. Yeah, they're late. This game has not gone our way. Let's send Prognosis. Let's Clave first. See if we can get a free mark or at least bait out a shelter. Now we send Black Widow. See what our opponent wants to do with this. They either give us a card and prevent the effect, or they don't give us a card, take 3, clear the mark, and then banish something. And then we get in with the Prognosis. Opponent already blocked with Flight Path. I don't hate getting Ancestral Empowerment, because now I know it isn't there. Interesting, giving us Vest. It's a good line from our opponent. Oh my god. What are we doing? This is so bad. I'm going to play out this game, but we have lost this game. 4 attacks into 4 reactions. All of our D-reacts are early. Like, we're losing this game, everyone. This is a losing game of Flesh and Blood. We're not going to get there. Syndra gets full tempo. It's not going to work for us. Yes, Syndra can brick. That's what we need to have happen, but we're down 9 points. It's not going to happen. Not even like the good cards. Syndra has to turn a red into a dagger, which is not bad for us. But it does mean that she's online. We can go ahead and block here. We're going to give up Horrors. What am I sinking? I think I'm sinking the Spinneret. Trying to find, if we can find a Codex, we can maybe get we can maybe get ourselves back into this game. Because we do have a Leave No Witnesses in Yard. If we go to 7, what are we doing? We're sending Double Trouble for 5? That's terrible. We'll just block here. Go to 10. Opponent will have a 4-card hand. They will have less than that. We're going to put them on 3 cards. We are now out of D-React, which is very unfortunate. Her daggers are off. This is like... Your tech decided not to cooperate. I'm trying. I'm trying to scrape something together here. Syndra can definitely brick. We saw her last hand not quite be good enough. Maybe we can still put her in that spot. And if she's not drawing D-Reacts, then maybe we're okay. Opponent has chosen Ignite. That is reasonable. Get Ignite, discard Ignite. Ignite into Kunai does nothing. Oh, or she just sacks the arsenal? All right. Oh, oops. I always forget that I have to actually pick the arsenal. Big 2 silver. I get to buy back my chest, which is kind of okay. Arsenal Meat Madness is not terrible. Can I do anything impressive with Take Up the Mantle? What do I have in here? I've got a Double Trouble. It's probably just Black Widow. I am going to Infect. Prey Spotters. Redback is goated. Redback is, it's so much value. We're so up. I definitely don't need to block this. I think I am likely blocking with Kiss of Death at some point. Not blocking this either. I knew I was going to have to block 4 here. I like want there to be a world where I give my flick knives, but there just isn't. Think what we're doing is blocking with Razor's Edge. We are going to Kiss of Death. Interesting hand. It like isn't right to block with flick knives, but I really want it to be so that I can do this and get to send a little more damage. Get to like kiss Razor's Edge into Meat Madness. I have a kiss in here. I don't, so I could just block with kiss even. And infect, prey, spotters, take up. We're cooked, we're so back. We're cooking, we're cooked. We're like almost there. We're so close to being somewhere. I need to leave the potential for Meat Madness high roll, I think. I think I have to block with flick knives here to actually do something. Much as I really don't want to. Ian's back on the bandwagon. Slippy's good now. Slippy got new cards, Ian. I gotta try them. Yes, I get my Shroud back, which is pretty cool. Break spotters. Play take up. Really wish that I, really miss bonds. Send Meat Madness. The problem here is even if I get a card from my opponent and put them to 7, even with 2 cards, I probably have to block 2 things. Can't take no more damage? Yeah. Giving up the flick knives is unfortunate. I Razor's Edge here because if I draw a Codex, I don't want to have to worry about keeping extra cards. Got the Arsenal. All right, so we probably die. Well, my hand blocks, which is always nice. Block with Kiss. Block with Infiltrate. I guess Meat Madness would have been the right block there. Take the higher upside line. Send Meat Madness. Pray. Syndra could find a D-React, which would give her an out. Please, one time. Hey, we got from hand. We did it. Our high upside line worked. We still have codexes. Chat, we're maybe not out. Maybe we're okay. Maybe we can find an answer. It's looking less likely. Block with Horror? No. Block with Widow first? Blue one time. Damn it. Oh, I hate to see that. Block with Horrors and go to 1. Neat hit. We're cooking. We did the thing. We're so close to maybe being okay. Flick put me to 1 seems good. I'll just Arsenal. Jesus Christ, where are my codexes? All right, we're dead. We definitely die here. We got close, chat. We just couldn't quite find answers. We couldn't quite find our outs. We drew a bunch of reaction hands and then some attack hands. Our codexes are gone. Now we're just going to get flicked and killed. Yeah, we tried. We just couldn't quite get it. Good game. Syndra didn't even do anything, like, offensive either. It's just, geez. Well, here they were. We didn't find the codexes. Really what the problem was just our clunky hands. Are like, this hand into... If you didn't brick, you might have been fine. Yeah, that's the problem with the deck. I mean, it does its imitation of Runeblade hands where we just draw reactions and attacks and not in the right distribution. Let's do one more. Let's see if we can compensate for this game. But I think the deck is functioning well. The Syndra didn't really do anything egregious, which makes me feel bad that, we couldn't win what is supposed to be a good matchup. Oh, God. Speaking of bad matchups. Put on you. Bring in cards that convert. Try our best. You bricked at least 3 times. Even the thing with me bricking, though, is that my bricks still block 12. So it's never terrible. Good luck, have fun. We go first. We say, what's the new armor do? Like, why are they upgrades? Let me figure out my arsenal, and then I will tell you. I'm going to arsenal that's overcrowded, I think, because then I can block with it. Prey Spotters is Battle Worn 1. Oh, I was absolutely supposed to bring, oh no, I have AB1. Prey Spotters is Battle Worn 1. As an attack reaction, destroy it to mark target opposing hero. Stalker's Steps is 0 block. Arcane Barrier 1. As an attack reaction, destroy it. Target attack with stealth. Gets go again. Opponent finds CNC turn 0, like a gamer. I am going to block with Overcrowded. What am I doing? My intention is to Kiss of Death, Prognosis, Flit Kiss, Justinic, Arsenal Take Up. It seems reasonable. Opponent blocks with Pitch Swarm and Shelter. So I think they're upgrades. Prey Spotters. Overcrowded was a gamer move. We're so up. So Prey Spotters, I am testing to replace Crown of Providence because the unconditional mark is huge, especially against heroes with prevention effects. Like Florian can well-grounded Afflict Knives. Any hero can Shelter from the Storm Afflict Knives, but you cannot prevent the mark from Prey Spotters, and so when repairing it would take up the mantle. I think it has a lot of potential. Stalker's Steps is just Snapdragon with Go Again. Like, it's just good. It just does good things, so I'm testing them. I think Stalker Steps just makes the list 100% of the time. Now, does it replace Black Tech Whispers and Widow Web Crawler? That I don't know, and that's what I'm testing. So far, it seems pretty good. I agree. Prey Spotters is what I'm testing. I think it's better in Marionette than Slippy. But it might just be good enough in both heroes. Just to nick both modes. Rootbound Carapace takes you to 6. I think I care enough to take up here. I don't care enough to Prey Spotters it. Submit like this. I had a Mario slap me. I get a yellow off the Justinic. Prognosis gives me a blue, and you have a Gloomveil in hand. So you're just gonna arsenal that, I assume. Mario slap me for 10 through a whole hand on a Kiss of Death with T-Tox and a handful of reacts on turn 0. Yeah, that's a little brutal. Does T-Tox do, or does Codex do anything for me here? Not particularly. It gets me armor. It doesn't force Florian to do anything. Spinneret here is a little awkward. I think I'm going to Spinneret, Kiss, T-Tox. Probably play Codex and get back Kiss of Death. But also, maybe I don't play the Spinneret. Maybe I just play Kiss. I play Kiss, I T-Tox I Spinneret Tunic to Clave to flick the Kiss, and then I Codex. That's the line. We just play Kiss. Mario does some nutty stuff. Ellie Bird is a huge proponent of banning T-Tox, and I can really get on board with it. Well, it just says, like, it does the same thing if you block or not, but if you do block, you just get super punished. Like, it's +3 to a Kiss of Death no matter what happens, but if you do put a card in front of it, you just lost a card. Like, I can definitely see the argument for banning it. I still don't have a better card to get back than Kiss of Death, which is unfortunate. Nice piercing, idiot. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Like, I could get back Persuasive and then force my opponent to give me more armor, but I don't see why that's better than just sending 4, potentially. You know what's more interesting than this? Now that I'm really thinking about it. Overcrowded for 4. Overcrowded for guaranteed 4. Never mind, it's 3, and I'm bad at the game. Well, our opponent was going to block it anyway. I forgot that it only has 1 power. I'm used to thinking about it as 2 block, so it becomes 4 block, but yes, it only has 1 power, so the 2 tokens does make it 3. But you know what? Opponent had the D-React for it anyway, so we weren't going to connect. We were not going to get there. What is concerning is our opponent is about to be online. 5 Earth in Banish. There are 2 Earth in Graveyard. We find Horrors of the Past, which is kind of interesting here with the Infect. Breaking Well-Grounded for 0. Opponent's cooking? I get it, but, like, surely that's wrong. Being a 0-for-3 react, a 0-3 react that blocks 3 at worst and a 0-6 at best is kind of nuts. Yeah. Yeah, it's a bit of a problem. I'm definitely blocking with the CNC. Interesting hand here. I could block more, and I probably should. The Horrors here is kind of not great. I would like to get Spinneret value at some point, but I keep not finding opportunities to flick. I think I'm just blocking 6, preserving some life. Horror seems like it has this crazy combo lines based on how card memory works. So, End Hill, 43-28. My understanding is that Horrors works the way that you want it to, where, like, if I play Horrors now, say this Razor's Edge was a Take Up the Mantle. I play Horrors, I get the Infect effect. If I broke Prey Spotters or flicked a Clave to mark Florian, and then played Take Up to become Kiss of Death, I would still keep the Infect text. Sigil of Suffering? Okay. I did not know Florians were on Sigil of Suffering. That's pretty interesting. What D-Reacts have I seen from you? Sigil So that's, I'm assuming 9. You're going to give me well-grounded on this? Deal. Yes, technically they got their full value, but I'm fine with it. I do like that I can continue to line up my Justinic and Persuasive. This hand is spooky. I'm taking 6 here and you arsenal a card, and then what am I doing? I'm sending Persuasive, Justinic both modes, Spike, Clayview. Seems reasonable. If you face purg me, is that super bad? Oh god, another swarming? Would Slippy use Schism now? I can definitely see it. I'm definitely nervous about Schism because we make so much, we make, god, Ponders. Like, I'm playing the 3 codexes, but I have 5 in here currently. I have Codex of Bloodrot as well. That's 5 Ponders. Like, there's too much. I think there are too many opportunities to get blown out. Finds the channel Mount Heroic. What does that mean for my turn? Sadly, my Tunic is 1 off, or else I would do this. But that's why opponent did it. They kept a 4-card hand, or I kept a 4-card hand, so they knew it was the time to face purg. I'm just going to Clave, Arsenal the Spike. I think not blocking on this turn and then getting face purged is losing me the game. Like, I think that the Florian correctly blocked with face purg, and that got me. This is already a terrible matchup. Like, I'm not going to pretend. Let's not pretend that this is not an atrocious matchup for Slippy. It always has been. The way that you beat Earth Heroes was with Bonds. Ugh, fucking Plow Under. I hope this card gets banned too. Florian's online. What am I doing? I can Meat Madness, take up into a bunch of shit. Leave no witnesses. This is not good. I don't know what my out is. There's no way these Earth cards are going to be banned. They've just gotten reprint. Yeah, but like, fuck them. They got reprinted. That's why they can be banned. Plow Under is $1. No one is upset if they bought their $3 playset of Plow Unders and then it gets banned. I think I'm doing this. I take 2. I send the Meat Madness. I can Prey Spotters take up into nothing good because I haven't seen any of my good stealth cards yet. Plow Under ban would be good. It's just unconditional Arsenal hate that also does the thing that both Earth Heroes want it to do. You're giving me a felling? Your hand must suck. I think I just let this happen. Depending on how they block the Leave No Witnesses, I'll flick a Clave just to get them marked so I don't have to give my Prey Spotters. Non-interactive disruption, not good for the game. I agree. That's why I think Plow Under should be banned. Yeah, I'll use my Tunic for this. Arsenal take up. You're just okay. You did have the Hand of Reds. What am I doing? I can double trouble, block with horrors. I guess I don't need to block with horrors. If I really want to like go for it, I can double trouble, horrors. I can double trouble, flick. I feel like this has the potential to be a pretty cool turn. I'm going to just keep all these cards. Plow and Felling were definitely a bit pushed. I feel like LSS wanted Earth Heroes to make a splash after Mistveil. They thought Mistveil was going to be strong. They wanted Rosetta to be able to compete, so they printed Felling and Plow, these pushed Earth cards, which didn't help. And then all the Mistveil heroes LL'd. And now we're stuck with Felling and Plow. Am I supposed to take up into anything else? I don't think so. I think I'm just pushing damage here. Nasty Surprise and Shelter, okay. Oh, right, this takes the double trouble effect. That's why yeah. That's why I thought this was going to be cool. If people could Arsenal this meta, the meta would be way wider. I totally agree. But they still won't give us back Icelander. I'm still cranky we're getting Aurora and likely Dromai back before Icelander. I can see that. All right, so we Stalker's Steps. We Prey Spotters. We take up the Mantle into, I guess, Meat Madness? Sure. Malefic and Overcrowded. Hit effect is top of the... Oh, is from their hand? We're so up. Into Leave No Witnesses that they have to care about? Chat? Are we so back? Are we up tremendous? We're probably about to get Fellinged, and I'm going to be really sad about everything that just happened. But, like, that was a sick turn, right? We did really cool stuff. Oh, no, they found the Felling. We're so back. I don't know if we're so back anymore. Opponent found the best card in Flesh and Blood. We are in an interesting position because opponent has a Felling in graveyard, so I can't just Codex them, because then they get back the Felling and I have to deal with it again. So what I would need to do is Codex a Bloodrot first to get them to fill the arsenal and then play Codex. What a great line, then the tree drops. I know, it was almost really cool. If this was like Cadaver's Tilling, then I feel much better about my position. I think I am bottoming Frailty. I'm blocking with Horrors. I'm Codexing my Leave No Witnesses. I think that's the line. Arsenal Disruption is a good thing. Decks need to be able to interact with their opponents. I don't like uninteractable Arsenal Disruption. Plow Under just saying you lose your arsenal and there's nothing you can do about it, to me feels bad. Ships Passing in the Night is boring gameplay. I'm not saying it's a good thing, but some decks don't get to use it as good as others. We also look at what the top decks in the meta are, and they all fuck with the arsenal in ways that other decks can't interact with. We get a card from Florian. I get an arsenal, which is cool. Creep is maybe okay, but probably not. Seed's Life is very bad. I have AB0. But I did make a really sick play. 7, so I'm just blocking here. Undo block. I'm blocking 6. Going to 6. My line is Creep, Break Chain, Codex, Pain. I really wish that I felt better about going to 3 so that I could Spinneret first and get to do... Now I guess that wouldn't really work. This is fine. It's not ideal, but we can work with it. December 15th cannot come fast enough. Very excited to see what gets banned. Plow is the kind of disruption I hate. At least you can block out CNC and Conk. Exactly. I feel exactly the same way. We've gotten a lot closer than I thought we would. And I don't think we've drawn super well this game, but we are not in a good position at all. This is going very poorly for us. But I think the new headpiece was very cool. Horrors was obviously great. Like, that was a sick line that we put together. I think we've gotten a lot closer than I would have expected us to, considering that we don't have Bonds of Agony, which was specifically the way that we would win games in the previous meta. When Bonds was legal, you needed to resolve Bonds against the Earth Heroes in order to win, or else you just lose the game. So we've gotten much closer than I thought we would. We're going to lose this game. Especially because Florian is finding ways to convert. So this is T-Tox. I guess I don't need to block the Swarm. Or maybe I do. It's, do I want to try to win or do I want to not be dead? So I can block with Knight's Embrace. I would be blocking the Reaping Blade with Spike. And then just sending Pain. Oh, this is fine. I screwed something up here. This is fine. Let's see if Florian keeps the Arsenal. They do. Send Pain first. I don't think we're getting there, but I think we got kind of close. I like the plan. It maybe needs some refinement. But there's some cool lines in here. Follow it with meat. We need a few things to go our way for this Meat Madness to end the game. And I don't think they will, because Florian could just block with 2 cards. Like block 6, keep a blue. Also in my head, T-Tox was going to give this +3. Maybe Meat Madness banishes the only blue in their hand, and then they can't kill us. We got the Arsenal, so not quite. Oh no, Florian had a blue. Let's see if the other card was a blue. Ooh, my god, there was a world where we banished from hand. Oh no, they would have gotten to choose what they banished from hand. Okay, I mean, we got close. Plow's the kind of deserves, even though people hate Conk more than Plow, people just hate Gravy, is the thing. I hate Plow far more than I hate Conqueror. This was a close game, honestly. And we had a 21 damage turn, which is very cool. We had to burn our equipment to do it, which I don't love. Maybe, as good as the headpiece was, maybe we wanted... No, we just were aggressive with our legs, and we could have decided not to be. Tough game. But Florian is probably Slippy's worst matchup. Let's head over to, real quick. Let's pop over to Fablazing. Question mark? We might not be headed over to Fablazing. I want to go over to Fablazing real quick, and we can just check on Slippy's little breakdown in the meta. Question mark? Are you just not going to work for me, OBS? It's just not going to work. It's sad. We'll never know. Oh, there it is. Okay, great. This was from the... This is from the recent meta. We don't really want that. When was the last meta that Slippy was relevant? It was Kansas City? Fuck it. Let's go to Talishar. There's no good meta to check what Slippy's win rate into Florian was because they weirdly did not exist at the same time. When Slippy was good, Florian didn't have Germinate, no one played it. So on Talishar, we can look and see that Slippy has a 25% win rate into Florian, which is... That and Kasai are its actual worst matchups. So... Yeah, I have trouble feeling bad about how close we got. Yeah, Florian is Slippy's, according to Talishar, Florian is Slippy's literal worst matchup. And we still put the Florian to 3. We lost the die roll and had to go first. Even though I don't think that's necessarily bad against Florian. Is our win rate actually higher when we go first or second? I feel like we didn't really catch good breaks that game, and we still came very close, which makes me feel good. Somehow when I dig deeper into this, the matchup actually gets worse. Interesting. Oh, is Vincent worse? I guess that doesn't surprise me. Though I do wonder now with, 15%. I wonder now with with like a pretty decent sample size. With easily equipable AB1, more yellows, and possibly more blues, I wonder if Slippy could fatigue Vincent. Surely the Vincent players don't expect that, right? Because the big problem with Slippy is anytime you banish from Vincent's hand, you're probably helping her. Yeah, I wonder if Slippy could just hard fatigue Vincent. That's kind of an interesting one. I might have to... That would probably be my approach in that matchup if I paired into it randomly, is just try. Interesting. Something to think about. Anyway, thank you all for hanging out. 50 of you are hanging out here right now. We had over 400 throughout the day. This was great. I will actually be back on Monday. My schedule actually allows me to stream on Monday, like I've said that I was going to for weeks. And I'm going to be back playing Slippy. This was successful, I think. Deck needs some work, for sure. By the time I'm streaming on Monday, we're not going to know what the BNR is. So sadly, I won't get to really have an update as far as here's what the meta's going to turn into. Was anything not working? CNC count being 2 felt good. I never felt like I drew a CNC, and I never drew 2 in the same hand. Sometimes I would draw and it isn't good, but that's a lot of the deck. 2 Justinix felt fine. The double troubles were effective, and I really liked having one in the graveyard. Meat Madness did feel pretty good. I think I banished from hand more than any other effect. There was only one turn where it just didn't banish anything, like it hit Arsenal and Syndra had no Arsenal. So that felt good. Like, I'm a fan of Meat Madness. Spike with Blood Rot, I can see going down to 2 copies. I felt like Spike might have shown up more times than I could really get use out of it. Maybe I replace Spike with another blue and run 10? That might be a little too... I don't know. I might be lost in the sauce there. I didn't get enough use out of Knight's Embrace to really have a, like, tell if I like this card or not, but I was never short a Clave to flick and wish I had one. So Knight's Embrace being Concealed Blade probably wouldn't have mattered. So, you know, keep testing it for now. E-Strike was fine in the one matchup that I have it for. Creep was relevant, but not really. I don't know, Creep did what I thought it would do, which is just B3 with Go again, but I don't think I ever drew Creep in a hand with 2 other stealth attacks. It was like Creep and Pain and 2 reactions or something, but it has stealth and that's nice. Codex of Bloodrot did feel okay against Florian, the one turn that I got to line it up with Leave No Witnesses in hand. So the Codex, yeah, I think overall the deck was effective. It might need a little tuning, but there was nothing in it that really felt like bad. So yeah, we'll be back on Monday playing more Slippy. For those of you who are in Seattle today, good luck. You're getting your Pummel promos tonight, which is awesome. That's great. It's a sick looking promo. If you're playing in the Calling tomorrow, best of luck to you. I got some locals from Sacramento who are competing. Steven, Nick, Colin, good luck. Hope you day 2. Hope you top 8. Get yourself a PTI. And for anyone who either isn't playing the Calling or doesn't make day 2, I hope you're excited about Sage. Good luck in the Battle Hardened Sunday. I'll be keeping tabs on everyone that I know. Hit me up on Discord or Blue Sky if you're doing well. I'd love to hear about it. Love to cheer you on from home. And hope you all have a great weekend. Until I see you all again on Monday, take care.